to Unsigned518. I am actually remotely speaking with Zephyr and Aaron of N.T.T. Fxcks. And Aaron, you're like on the fucking other side of the country right now, right? Where are you at?
Total opposite side. I'm on the west coast of Washington.
Nice.
So
And then
I'm about 25 minutes away from Seattle right now.
and Zephyr, you're just down in Albany, but you know.
Yeah, I'm down in Albany. I'm at my store.
And you want to throw up a quick plug for the store before we get rolling?
Oh yeah, it's 327 Central Avenue, Zeph's on Central. Come see for yourself and get in touch with our products.
Sweet. So I actually, came across, or you guys came across my radar. I did the album review, and Zeph, I can't remember if we had spoken before then or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I reached out because, like, I had just gotten back on social media, and I was, like, giving you a shout. It's like, hey, like, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. And I had been plugging the album for maybe, like, a couple of days, maybe. And then I threw it over to you, I think.
Yeah, I think that's how. See, so many people I can never remember like how a relationship started, But we've been in contact and touch and having conversations over the last like several weeks, and the album came across my desk to review for Metroland, and it not only introduced me to you, but it introduced me to shoegaze in general. Like I had no idea what to expect, and I was blown away by it. I really, really like what you two were putting together. So I'm excited to have this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah,
what an honor it is to be someone's intro to such a niche genre.
Yeah, I had no, and I had heard like the term, but for some reason I just had it in my head that it was like really heavy, heavy music, and I was like, oh shit, this is
it can be. There's maybe if you branch out into shoegaze a bit, there are some genuinely like sort of heavier shoegaze bands. They take that whole sort of dreamy feel and they inject it into like metal and stuff. It's great. It's a great blanket genre.
Yeah, I mean, nightmares are dreamy too. Like
yeah, exactly.
So I guess what we want to do is kind of go back. I don't know who wants to take the lead, but kind of go back and I guess tell the story of how you two came to make music on opposite sides of the country, and where, like, how N.T.T. Fxcks got rolling, I guess, to use that fucking term.
Well, no, that's great. I think I'll take part of this question. I'll let Aaron handle, like, I'll let him interject when possible, but we have been friends, Aaron, like since like what, 2006?
If not earlier, maybe 05. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, he and I have been friends for a very long time. We used to be a part of a Japanese rock message board called J-Rock NYC, and that was ran by a guy named Gordon Brittenadande. Right? Did I say that right? Did I say it right? I think so.
I don't know what the last thing you said was, but his first name is definitely Gordon.
His first name is definitely Gordon.
His last name is Wells. And he's active on Instagram, but he's no longer like a J-Rock guy. So he's still in New York. You could spot him at like any of the metal bars that are hanging around. But yeah, we found each other essentially on a J-Rock message board, which is J-Rock is Japanese rock. It's just an abbreviation of that. And we were really into like music from Japan and stuff. And this guy had a blog where he kind of did reviews and stuff for albums, and he kind of had an inside look at it because he was in Japan for a long time. And so we kind of found each other through a mutual interest.
And then, so this was, you said you met, or, you've been friends since 2005. When did it go from, being friends to bonding over this music to creating your own music, I guess?
Well, that's a really cool, that's right where we were headed too. Like, I think it was like 2009 is when I really started getting a grip on what I wanted to do musically. I remember I was playing music with this guy named Don Joker for like a brief part in fucking time. And I was, kind of like sampling stuff out. And I was really into this one band that Aaron got me into. They were called the Day Sleepers. And Aaron had brought up the fact that a couple of the bands that he had got me into, like Plastic Treat, name like one really specific one, like they were a genre called shoegazing. And so, like, he kind of got me down that really deep rabbit hole because, like, I was coming from like a metal and blues background mostly, and it just kind of opened up my eyes to this whole like world of like sonic overtures. Like, oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted musically, So, it was really funny how this started. We started a joke Japanese rock band. Aaron, you wanna lay this one out?
Oh, sure, yeah. So we formed a band on this message board with another friend of mine whose name is Ken. He lives in Japan, and it was meant to sort of parody indie Japanese what are called visual K bands, which are sort of like their version of glam rock, so like hair metal and stuff like that. So it was a parody band of Japanese hair metal essentially. And the only reason we got together is because Ken was like, I play guitar and bass. Zephyr was like, I play guitar and bass. And I was like, I can make noises with my voice. And we just kind of grouped up and started making sounds. And it was so much fun that I think that was sort of the impetus for me and Zephyr to get together and do something actually serious. And we segued that into the first N.T.T. Fxcks recordings, which was essentially us trying to make something that was more shoegazy. And that was actually I would say that was the start of my ever touching music in general. Before that, I was more just an appreciator of music. Okay. And up to that point, I had never, tried to do anything creative in that way. So NTTF and that parody band were sort of my intro to songwriting and creating music and stuff like that.
And from my perspective, coming from college and all that, and then moving back from Maryland back to New York, and like not really having much of anything to do except like work in a clothing shop and basically like ingest and live music. I think that was like the best thing for me at that point in time, because like I actually got my feet wet. And Aaron was like around for a lot of like I would message him, be like, oh my god, you should hear these samples I just did, because I had like this giant drum kit in my garage, and that's what I did to sample like the drum kits in our first releases. Was just like I would just go out to my garage and just like bang around and be like, okay, I want this sound. I even used a dryer. I used a dryer as a sample for that. I think I tracked the guitars with a laptop microphone because I didn't have a proper USB cable to hook up to my PC at the time. So yes, all those sounds were like all organic, in the room, reverby type sandbox stuff.
And I didn't even know that. That's news to me. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because there's a big running joke with shoegaze is that it's like dryer core or like vacuum cleaner music essentially, because it's just like a buzzing drone in all the music that kind of unifies it, So that's great. I like that you used the organic source of shoegaze to create new shoegaze.
Well, this was back in Aaron, if you remember, this is back in 2009, and like I think it was a running joke between you and I, like when we were listening to the tracks. You were like, "Is that a dryer back there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I think you thought I was joking. I was being 100% serious. That was a fucking dryer.
But I
That's
love that,
great.
and
I
that's a
love that.
reoccurring theme that I get like with a lot of guests is that the beginnings. That's why I always say I want to know like the beginning because it always seems to start like the really creative shit always starts from
Yeah.
at a necessity and just working with
Mhm.
what you have in front of you at the time, and like
Yeah.
how that evolves into what you got going on now. It's interesting as fuck to me.
Oh yeah.
So, at this point, you're together making music. You've done the Japanese parody band. N.T.T. Fxcks is coming together. How does the songwriting process go? Like, who comes? Basically how does it start? Each idea.
Well, oh no, I mean like a lot of the songwriting that he and I do is really in the box. But I'll formulate an idea or two, and that idea or two will like become like a whole thing, and then I will send it over to him, and he'll work out the vocals, or like on his perspective, he'll do like a whole like MIDI layout, and then he'll send me the whole song as is, and then I'll put it through like whatever DAW I'm using, and then it'll play back for me using like my samples and stuff like that, so we'll get a general feel. And it works out pretty well. I mean, we're working on a like another 6-track EP, and like there's a song on there that I really really like, and I can't wait to like share that with everybody, because like Aaron's songwriting is incredible. I say that a lot, but I think Aaron's songwriting is incredible. Like his stuff like after our first album is incredible too. Like his stuff with Airs like is some really 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 solid stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, early
Yeah.
on, the songwriting process, I would say, starting out with NTT Fucks is a little different from it is now. I think now we both are a little bit more directly collaborative. I think in that first release we had, since we were sort of experimenting, a lot of it was Zephyr would send me essentially an entire instrumental track. I'd add vocals on
Mhm.
top and then maybe do some mixing adjustments. And then I
Mhm.
would send Zephyr an entire rendered instrumental with vocals on it. And that was usually an interesting thing about that first album is that we had songs that were like synth pop. And that's because that was all I knew how to make myself because I can't play, I couldn't play anything. So I'd make songs that sounded like Depeche Mode, and I'd send them over to Zephyr, and Zephyr would add guitar. Or we also had a friend of mine who was supporting us and was really into our music and was like, "Hey, if you need any backup guitars, let me know." And so he dropped some guitars in there too. And so it was
Mhm.
sort of a little more like, sort of like, here's a whole thing, do what you want, and here's a whole thing, do what you want. Now it's a little more like interwoven.
Okay.
So
So
I
should
yeah
we?
I,
No, go ahead.
Oh, what, yeah, no, more to add to that. Yeah, I like our creative flow a lot more now that we're like, that we know what we want.
yeah,
Right.
I love that. And like Aaron will be very vocal with me, like especially like be like, "Hey, can we do this here?" It's like, "Yeah." So,
hmm
I think that's a really good segue. Aaron, did you want to pick the first song?
all right, cool, yeah. So my favorite song on the album is a song called "Film." It doesn't really represent the bulk of the album because it's sort of the ballad, but I feel like it's a beautiful song. The instrumental track, just like I remember pulling that up when Zephyr sent it over to me and listening to it over and over without actually singing or writing any lyrics for it because I was just like off in a dream world listening to it, and it was just gorgeous, and it really kind of stuck with me. And so when I did the vocals, I did a lot of sort of improvisational harmonizing to sort of like some dummy lyrics, which is usually what I do, but in this case, it was more of a I went over the song over and over and over and over, and then I cut entire takes out until it felt like it did the song justice. Usually I do take by take, but that song, it felt like such an experience that I wanted to get it beginning to end every single time. And so that's why it's my choice for my favorite song on the album. So I would say let's go with that as a first pick.
All right, cool. So let's listen to film N.T.T. Fucks, and then we'll be right back. right, that was Film N.T.T. Fxcks. And I guess what I want to ask you, again, as someone kind of new to shoegaze in general, but what are some of the other bands that influence the sound that you create?
Well, all right.
With Zephyr being sort of the mastermind behind the instrumental, particularly on that song, I'm going to defer to Zephyr on that one. Because
Yep.
I could say my influences all over the place, but it's going to be mostly kind of generalized.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I listen to a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of shoegaze. I would say I listen to a lot of Japanese rock music, and I think that's all. One of my main influences there is like the real like dissonance, or like, I don't know, like there's like a certain composure that those songs have that like American songs I just don't have. Once again, I'm gonna go back to the band I mentioned earlier, Plastic Tree. Huge influence. Wouldn't you say so, Aaron?
Yeah. Same for me, even to this day. I mean, they're still putting out some good stuff, but they have sort of a discography. I would say 80% of it is just absolute bangers, and it's clearly influenced by other music, especially music from the UK, like The Cure and the Sundays and My Bloody Valentine. But they have a sound all their own, and they're a huge influence on me, especially with N.T.T. Fxcks type stuff.
Yeah, and that being the case, they were a huge sounding board for me, like as far as like getting into the waters of shoegazing. I remember like back in like 1994, 1995, my sister Fatime gave me a Sunday's blind LP tape, and I still have it. It's over at home right now, just in my little bin, my little area. And like I was always mystified by that type of music, and I had no idea what to call it until Aaron bestowed me that knowledge. So like they were a huge influence.
The Sundays are awesome. Really good.
Sundays are amazing.
If you want something that's got the dreamy aspect of shoegaze and dream pop, but is something that you can listen to like when you're cleaning the house, or you're I don't know, like just meditating on the great things in life, the Sundays are a great band for that. You just kind of put it on and listen. Beautiful voice, amazing instrumentals, jangly guitars.
Yeah, Reading, Writing, and Arithmetic is one of those albums that you should just listen to from like start to finish, hands down. What would you say? Some other? I would definitely say Caligari is a huge influence on our sound. Like
Caligari. See, I wouldn't recommend our music to people as these are similar to Caligari kind of thing, but I feel like spiritually Caligari.
Yeah.
Are
for
very
sure.
instrumental for me, because that's a band I'm very much inspired by, just because of their creative energy.
I would say it only because like you have like a vocal style a lot like Shuji Ishii.
Yeah. I could see that. I could see that for sure.
Yeah.
I love their music. If we ever end up going down that route, that'd be a lot of fun.
Like that. Well, the majority of the demos that you had sent me are a lot in that vein, and I really want to explore. That's exactly what I was talking about. Nice. Exploring, I'm so excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, those are some good influences. Everyone wants to mention My Bloody Valentine when you say shoegaze, because they're sort of the big founders. But I remember you not being a huge fan.
I am not. I have such a dislike for My Bloody Valentine. I believe that they are absolutely overrated, and that Kevin Shields, while he is a decent musician and composer for film, like I just don't. I can't. I'm good. That's fine.
All right, we got a hot take for the interview. That's good. Hot take. You
It's an
can put that as a
exceptionally
headline.
hot take, so I expect to get some heat on that one.
Yeah, that's an extremely hot take.
And with the album, like myself, like not knowing much about it, I almost like the techniques behind it were a mystery to me. I guess like that wall of sound, and like you described it as a drone, but there is that ethereal, and is where does that come from? I guess like is that guitars? Is that keys?
Oh, buddy. Oh, man. On the website, on the Bandcamp website, it says right there that the record was recorded with a Schecter Damien 8 multi-scale, a Zoom G5, and a shitty Dell Inspiron, and bobby pins. So many bobby pins. So I own an 8-string guitar, and my 8-string guitar is like my favorite thing in the world because it has opened up so many tonal possibilities that I could literally just geek out about it all day. But the point is that I can either have like that single coil sound, so I get that really like nice, rich, like almost Strat-like tones, really glassy. And then I can have like those like humbucking tones and have that really deep, rich, like almost like low gain heavy sounds, So like I feel like that's a real big part of it is the tones shaped by the guitar that I play currently. A lot of it consists of just using like whatever impulse responses that I have on my G5. I'm actually improving my rig currently. I've got a Nano Cortex in the mail, and I've got another smaller Zoom box coming in for gain staging. So I'm really looking forward to that.
With the sound, like, is it a lot of layers, or is it like done kind of analog with pedals? Like, because it just sounds like so fucking much. It's like it just sounds like so much. And I've played guitar for a long time, and I'm like, huh, how does that happen?
You're actually going to be surprised because it really surprised Aaron too. Like I'm only like what you hear is literally one channel left and one channel on the right. So like even though there are a lot of guitar tracks, the guitar tracks are split up between segments of the song. So and once again, like Aaron, back me up on this because you've seen these tracks. Like it'll literally be only one guitar track left and one guitar track right. And then for the bass parts, I'm literally just, sucking out like the high end on my 8-string and then playing that,
Yeah. I've seen his track.
Hers.
Sorry, I've seen Zephyr's tracks that are basically just maybe like one or two left and right. Like you said, it's going to be heavily reverbed and distorted. So I think that's where you're getting that wall effect. Part of shoegaze is that it sounds like heavy layering, but it's oftentimes just heavy effects laden. And when you get that and you combine it with the right sort of dynamics and the right mixing, you get that feeling that sort of makes it sound really dense. And I think, are a lot of your effects on physical, or are they VST? I always wonder that because you send me them pre-rendered. And
yes, I do.
Almost all VST because I'm cheap.
Yeah, no, none of my effects are VST. Like anything I do, I did with like post-production would just be a simple like tune up on the compression, and that would be it. Like everything else, I live EQ everything. That's it.
That explains it.
Yeah.
That explains a lot of it because it's got that really sort of analog density to it. So that's another factor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Even
wild.
though I do everything like in the box, I use analog equipment. I refuse to do anything less.
Nice.
Yeah, that's crazy because it does sound like
It
it's
pays
so
off.
layered. You know, it sounds like there's so much. Like to hear that it's really not, and it's analog. You know, analog stuff is kind of a little mind blowing. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it all again and be like, wait.
I think that the best track for that to like really get a feel for that, like it would be Don't.
Okay.
I feel like Don't is the best example of that on the album. And because like there's like that one middle part where the guitar just starts creeping back in, like, and you'll hear it. There's like, it's like almost like a little noticeable, but like that punch in when it just comes in, it's just like, wow, that really is only one guitar track. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. It's really interesting.
It's something I'm so very proud of.
It's magic. It's audio magic, is what it is.
I think we should hear another song. So Zephyr, you we're gonna pick this one.
Yeah, let's do Don't. I would love to hear Don't.
Right, we were just talking about it.
Yeah, we just talk about it.
All right, well let's check out Don't, N.T.T. Fxcks, and then we'll be right back to wrap it up with Zephyr and Aaron of N.T.T. Fxcks. All right, so that was Don't N.T.T. Fucks. And Zephyr, Aaron, I want to thank you both so much for taking time out of your day to transcontinental. Would it be transcontinental on both, or no?
Yeah.
Both sides of the continent?
Well, no,
or does that mean to go to a different continent?
Yeah.
Trans-American.
Yes, we're
Trans-American,
Trans-American. My first Trans-American podcast. This could open up new doors. It'll be like, fuck it, let's just have people from all over the world do
Well,
this.
I guess that helps that I am a Trans-American, so.
Hey.
Oh, good one.
Zing.
See, too bad it's not a video podcast. You could see the look of triumph on your face with that zinger.
Yeah, exactly.
That was nice. But before we go, I just want to give you both a chance to say what I refer to as your gratitudes. So I don't know who wants to start.
I'll let Aaron. I want Aaron to start first because I've got a couple.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, let's see. First off, of course, I'd like to thank my wife who was supporting me through the entire thing. And every time I'd come home from work, and instead of hopping on a video game or watching a movie with her, I'd be like, I got to record some vocals for N.T.T. Fucks. Do you mind? And she was totally fine with it. I think that deserves a big thanks because it kind of it's important to support the people who let you indulge in your little artistic hobbies. I'd also, of course, just like to thank Zephyr for keeping the momentum going and keeping the creative energy just blooming all the time. And a fun little fact that we didn't get to mention earlier is that between that first album and this EP, there was a huge gap time where Zephyr and I weren't super in contact because every now and then she'd be off social media and then she'd come back on social media. And then we'd talk about music and then she'd be gone again. And so kind of elusive. Zephyr's an elusive figure that we got to sort of pin to the earth every now and then to make sure that she's here to.
I'm literally tethered to my star.
There you go. That's what it took. You had to get a star. You had to be tethered to a business, and now you can't escape us. But I'm very thankful for that. Definitely. I think that's where I'll end it right there.
All right, Zephyr.
I'm very grateful for not just my partner Faye, but for because for a long while, like I was just like out, like as he put it, like elusive, away from everything, and then like and that has a lot to do with like where I was from like a mental and emotional health state. So I feel like I've actually kind of succeeded. So I'm really, really once again grateful for Aaron and Faye for sticking behind me in that regard, and being a part of that journey with me and continuing to not just make music with me, but really like rekindling a lifelong friendship. I'm not grateful for a lot of things, but the one thing I guess the one thing I am grateful for is stability, and I got to thank my my boss for that one, who literally gave me this store. And if not for this store, I wouldn't continue creating. And if I don't create, then I'm bored. And then what happens then? Right. Bad things happen. Bad things happen.
Amen to that. Yeah, I guess, as little as I wish to thank employment in general, the job that I have right now does allow for a lot of flexibility. So that is very helpful. I agree. So I think we're in a good spot right now.
Awesome. I think because of that financial stability, I'm getting ready to go over there in maybe like a month or I think Aaron and I are planning for like either a month or two away from now. We're gonna play a show out that way, and then we're gonna bring the show here to the East Coast because we've already got a couple of offers from a couple of different bands from the EQ Exposure thing.
Nice.
So.
Keep me posted with the show out there. Like check in when you're out there.
Will do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pop in on the show. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, they are Aaron and Zephyr of N.T.T. Fxcks. I am Andy Scullin. This is Unsigned518. And I'll see you on the road. Unsigned518 is produced and hosted by me, Andy Scullin. New episodes are available every week wherever you stream podcasts. If you would like to help support the show, please like and subscribe wherever you are listening, or you could buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/unsigned518. If you would like to advertise on the show, send me an email at unsigned518@gmail.com. And to be a guest on the show, reach out to me through Instagram at unsigned518. Take care of one another, and I'll see you next week.